A mysterious tentacled creature from an unknown origin destroys over 70% of the moon and announces that he will destroy the world in 1 year. Despite this, Tadami Karasuma, a government worker from the Ministry of Defense, appoints the creature to be the teacher of Class 3E. The students are given weapons designed to hurt the creature, and they are promised 10 billion yen as a reward if they can assassinate him before their graduation. However, none of them can do it because of his Mach 20 speed. Welcome to Tori Recaps, where we're going to be recapping and reviewing anime. Class bully Ryoma Terasaka convinces Nagisa to wear a grenade filled with pellets when the creature gets sleepy after assigning the students to write a poem. Terasaka detonates the grenade when Nagisa is close enough to the creature, but it sheds its skin to protect them both from the blast. The creature threatens the other students to stay away from any plans that will harm others. Kid Keano names the creature Koro Sensei, seeing him as an undefeatable teacher. While reading a newspaper, Nagisa encourages Tomohiro Sugino to try and assassinate Koro Sensei by pitching a baseball embedded with pellets. However, Koro Sensei easily dodges and catches the baseball with a glove. Later, after lunchtime, Sugino is discouraged when Koro Sensei crushes his dream of becoming a professional baseball star due to his stiff wrists and elbows. Koro Sensei encourages him to focus on his own strengths for future assassination attempts. No matter what the students of Class 3E did, they failed to kill Koro Sensei, even when he tied himself to a tree branch. Karasuma joins Class 3E as the physical education teacher, watching how the class is ridiculed by other students at the school. Another student, Karma Akabayan, transfers into Class 3E following a suspension, and manages to inflict some damage to Koro Sensei by giving him a handshake with knife shards cleverly trapped in his hand. When the students take a quiz, Karma steals Koro Sensei's special gelato to get his attention and shoots him with an unloaded gun to catch him off guard. After hearing from Nagisa that Koro Sensei worships the octopus, Karma leaves a dead octopus on his desk, but Koro Sensei cooks it into takoyaki to ridicule Karma. Throughout the day, Koro Sensei manages to anticipate every prank that Karma tries to pull. As a last resort, Karma jumps off a cliff with a gun in hand, which would decide if Koro Sensei would risk his life for a student or destroy his pride as a teacher. However, Koro Sensei manages to save Karma, using his tentacles as a giant spider web and leading Karma to accept Koro Sensei as a teacher. The students of Class 3E are introduced to their new foreign language teacher, Irina Jelavic, who is a professional Serbian assassin with no interest in teaching the students. After being seduced by her, Nagisa shares all his notes about Koro Sensei's weak points to Irina. When Koro Sensei returns, Irina ropes him into a storage shed so that her team of assassins can kill him. However, this fails due to them using the wrong ammo on purpose and ignoring his keen sense of smell. After the students of Class 3E rebel against Irina when she refuses to properly teach them, Karasuma shows her how dedicated Koro Sensei is to teach each of his students and how important education is for assassination. Realizing her mistake, Zarina earnestly begs to teach her students and help them learn the art of communication. Minami Okuda attempts to poison Koro Sensei, but it has no effect. Despite her poor communication skills, she has a passion for chemistry. Because of this, Koro Sensei offers to help Minami make an effective poison, only for it to turn out to be a tonic that transforms into a speedster liquid form, teaching Minami to improve her communication skills so she can one day successfully deceive him. Later, the students of Class 3E are forced to travel from their old campus to the main campus to endure a school assembly. The students from other classes become envious due to the students of Class 3E having Karasuma and Irina as cool teachers. Koro Sensei shows his support by disguising himself as a scholar and providing extra copies of handouts previously not given to Class 3E. Afterwards, Nagisa manages to use his experiences in Class 3E to handle himself against Nobuta Tanaka and Chasuki Takata, two bullies from the main campus. School principal Gakuho Asano pays a visit to Class 3E to greet Koro Sensei, having noticed how Nagisa stood up to the bullies. Gekuo tells Koro Sensei to adhere to his educational system, which requires Class 3E to be at its poorest to encourage the other students. Noticing the students of Class 3E rather than getting high grades, Koro Sensei sends them the ultimatum of leaving and destroying the school should any of the students fail to score well enough in the midterm exams to rank among the top 50 students. During the midterm exams, the students of Class 3E use what they have learned from Koro Sensei's teaching methods to tackle each question they come across. However, the results fall short since Gekuho had added questions at the last minute without informing Class 3E of the changes. None of the students other than Karma rank among the top 50 students. Downhearted from underestimating Gekuho, Koro Sensei receives some encouragement from his class and becomes determined to turn things around for the final exams. The students of Class 3E prepare for a field trip to Kyoto, which is also being used as a venue to assassinate Koro Sensei. The students are arranged into groups in which Nagisa, Kid, Karma, Tsujino, Manami, and class idol Yukiko Kanzaki agreed to be in. On the train ride to Kyoto, male delinquents steal Yukiko's itinerary, noting the group activities on the next day. The group visits all the assassination landmarks, but they are ambushed by male delinquents who kidnap Kid and Yukiko. Whilst in captivity, Yukiko laments to Kid about her rebellious acts due to her being raised in a strict family. Nagisa, Karma, Tsujino, and Manami manage to use an extensive guidebook written by Koro Sensei, which provides a thorough procedure for hostage situations, to deduce where Kid and Yukiko are being held. Koro Sensei arrives to deal with the delinquents while Nagisa and the others knock out the delinquents with their guidebooks. Following the incident, Yukiko is encouraged by Koro Sensei's words of wisdom. Meanwhile, the other groups are accompanying Koro Sensei on a tour of Kyoto when a sniper known as Red Eye is tasked with assassinating him at various spots. However, each of his attempts to shoot him are thwarted by improbable means, and his mission is called off when Nagisa's group gets into trouble with the high school male delinquents. Later that evening, Red Eye is approached by Koro Sensei himself, who treats him to a meal, thanking him for helping make the field trip a valuable learning experience for his students. Due to his assassination efforts, Red Eye, understanding Koro Sensei's morals as a teacher, decides to quit his job in order to explore the world. Back at their hotel, private time among the boys and girls eventually turns into a hunt for Koro Sensei when he eavesdrops on their gossip. Koro Sensei hides from the students, telling Karasuma that the students all wanted to talk to him about his past love life. As the field trip ends, the world government prepares 2 special assassins to transfer into Class 3E. The students of Class 3E are greeted by their first transfer student, an artificial intelligence from Norway known as the Autonomous Intelligent Fixed Artillery, who uses calculations to assist the best way to shoot Koro Sensei. Managing to blow off one of his fingertips with the second barrage of gunfire, however, the students quickly get sick of her constantly firing her weapons during class and decide to tape them shut themselves so they can study properly. After class, Koro Sensei makes some modifications to the Autonomous Intelligent Fixed Artillery, giving her a more human personality. The next day, the students appreciate her more and nickname her Ritsu. Later that night, Ritsu's inventors are outraged with the changes made and attempt to remove all the modifications. However, Ritsu manages to hide her new personality from them before it is detected, deciding to secretly defy her inventors for the sake of keeping her promise to help her classmates. Irina is caught off guard by a retired Russian assassin who advises her to give up trying to kill Koro Sensei. Instead, Koro Sensei proposes a match between Irina and Lovro to see who will be the first to kill Karasuma with a rubber knife, offering Karasuma his own incentive should neither of them win. Despite Lovro's doubts, after he fails to kill Karasuma himself, Irina manages to use what she has learned targeting Koro Sensei to get close with Karasuma, accepting defeat at her hands and Lovro acknowledging her efforts. Nagisa, Karma, and Ritsu later agree to accompany Koro Sensei at Mach 20 speed on a trip to Hawaii to watch the premiere of a new movie, getting a lecture along the way, and learning a lot more about Koro Sensei's point of view. On their way back, a man in a white cloak observes alongside a boy, the second transfer student, who claims to be Koro Sensei's younger brother. The students of Class 3E prepare for the arrival of their second transfer student, who was allegedly more powerful than Ritsu. The man in the white cloak, named Shiro, enters the classroom and introduces the boy named Itona Horaibe, who surprises the other students with his relation to Kota Sensei. When Itona faces against Koro Sensei later that day, Kota Sensei is overwhelmed by the fact that Itona possesses tentacles in his hair, while Shiro uses his knowledge of Kota Sensei's weakness to give Itona the advantage. Shiro knocks Itona unconscious and carries him out of the classroom after seeing himself as weak, following Koro Sensei's counterattack with rubber knives to push him out of the ring and win the match. The students interrogate Koro Sensei about his true origins, but he remains tight-lipped, stating that they must continue their mission in order to find any answers that they seek. The students ask Karasuma to teach them more techniques as they are determined to kill Koro Sensei before anyone else. Karasuma evaluates the progress of the students during their training, but he briefly senses a fearsome aura like that of a python coming from Nagisa. Soon after, Karasuma's colleague Akira Takeoka is sent to Class 3E to take over as the new physical education teacher. He initially uses a light-hearted personality to attract the students, but his true nature as a ruthless and sadistic instructor is soon unveiled when Karasuma withholds Takeoka from tutoring the students any longer. Karasuma is challenged to pick one of his star pupils to use a real knife in a match against Takeoka, and he nominates Nagisu, who uses the assassination skills he learned from Karasuma. Nagisa manages to get the upper hand on Takeoka and wins the match when Takeoka violently objects to defeat. Karasuma beats him back. Kekuo arrives to fire Takeoka and Karasuma returns to his position as the physical education teacher. Koro Sensei takes the students of Class 3E to their own private pool that he made. But the students are alerted when Koro Sensei's tentacles swell up when soaked in water. Meanwhile, Terasaka becomes irritated when his friends Tokyo Muramatsu and Teizei Yoshida are getting along with Koro Sensei. Terasaka agrees to collaborate with Shiro and Itona in their assassination plan, previously dropping a bug bomb in the classroom to excrete Koro Sensei's mucus and secretly adding a transmitter in the pool. Then Terasaka gathers all the other students in the pool using a gun connected to the transmitter as a signal for Shiro and Itona. Instead, the transmitter sets off an explosion and puts the students in danger, forcing Koro Sensei to get his tentacles soaked in order to rescue the students from being swept away. Koro Sensei is left at the mercy of Itona while Sumaehara is hanging onto a tree branch nearby following Karasuma's plan. Terasaka uses his shirt still affected by the bug bomb to infect Itona, allowing Kota Sensei to rescue Hara whilst the other students splash water. Shiro and Itona are once again forced to withdraw as the final exams approach. Kota Sensei offers an incentive in which each student who gets the best overall score in their top subject will get to shoot off one of his tentacles during their next assassination attempt. Meanwhile, Shindo informs the students of Class 3E about Class 3A's Big Five: Asano, Teppei Araki, Rensaka, Kibata, Natsuhiko Koyama, and Temoya Seo, all of whom are determined to take Class 3E down. When Nagisa, Minami, Yukiko Isegai, and Ryo Nakamura go to study in the main campus library, the Big Five proposes a contest stating whichever class snags the most top spots in the exams can demand anything from the losing class. While Class 3A sets their sights on making Class 3E show complete servitude towards them, Kota Sensei proposes his own suggestion of what Class 3E can ask from their opponents. With both classes determined to win, the stage for the end-of-term final exam is set. The students of Class 3E and the students of Class 3A fight against each other to slay the test problems before them, with the students of Class 3E benefiting from Kota Sensei's unique teaching methods. When the results are revealed, Nakamura scores higher than Tomoya in English, Isegai scores higher than Gekashu in social studies, and Minami scores higher than Koyama in science. Koro Sensei shuns karma for losing to Gekashu due to studying very little and being overconfident. Terasaka, Yoshida, Muramatsu, and Kira Deizama each earn an additional tentacle for scoring top marks in home economics, resulting in a total of 7 tentacles overall. Having won the wager for the contest, the students of Class 3E decide to use their reward, a summer vacation at an island resort in Okinawa, as the venue for their assassination attempt. Prior to their trip, biologist Tina no Kurahashi helps Nagisa, Sujino, and Hirito Mahara hunt for bugs. However, Kurahashi becomes fascinated when Koro Sensei spots a rare stag beetle worth a ton of yen. Later, Koro is called in to help train the students for their island assassination, taking interest in the top 2 marksmen of the class, Ryanosuke Chiba and Rinka Hayami. After telling Nagisa about the world's most infamous assassin known only as the Reaper, Lovero decides to teach Nagisu a surefire assassination technique. The students of Class 3E soon arrive at their island resort, making all the necessary preparations for their assassination. After having dinner, during which Koro Sensei inadvertently uses up his emergency shedding technique to get rid of sunburn, the class begin their assassination attempt on board an on-sea chapel. Koro Sensei is forced to watch an hour-long movie entitled and narrated by Koki Miyamura, exposing all of Koro Sensei's embarrassing habits, used as a distraction from the chapel slowly filling with water and bloating up his tentacles. Once the students of Class 3 shoot off the 7 tentacles, they surround and block Koro Sensei with a hydraulic cage, allowing Chiba and Hirami to snipe him. However, Koro Sensei activates his ultimate defense, trapping him in an indestructible crystal sphere which will last for 1 day. Despite his limited movements, the students lament their failed assassination attempt as many of them suddenly and severely fall ill. This is revealed to be the work of a mysterious third party who had spiked their drinks with a supposedly deadly virus. Demanding that the remaining students and teachers bring him the immobilized Kota Sensei in exchange for the antidote, Kota Sensei and Ritsu instead come up with a plan to infiltrate the high-security hotel and obtain the antidote. Minami and Kotaro Takabayashi stay behind to take care of the poisoned students. A team of Irina and Kota Sensei scale up a mountainside to sneak into the hotel undetected, with the first floor lobby area heavily monitored by bodyguards. Irina uses the art of seduction and her skills in playing the piano to distract the bodyguards, so that the others can reach the next floor. On the 3rd floor central hall, the group comes across their first opponent named Smog, who is responsible for serving the spiked drinks to poison the students with the virus. Smog hits Karasuma with a canister of paralysis gas, but Karasuma still manages to muster up the strength to knock out Smog. On the 5th floor scenic walkway, the group finds their next opponent named Grip. Not intimidated when Grip easily breaks a glass window with his fist, Karma makes up for his failure in the final exams and steps up to fight against Grip. After Karma dodges Grip's fistful of grabs, Grip hits Karma with the canister of paralysis gas. However, Karma manages to cover his mouth with a handkerchief in time and hits Grip with another canister of paralysis gas, allowing the students to bind up Grip with duct tape and move onward with their mission. In order to unlock the back entrance to the stairs and reach the next floor undetected, Meg Karaoke has the female students dress up Nagisa as a girl and they all make their way through the 6th floor lounge. A rich guy named Yuji Norida spots Nagisa and tries to impress him by buying him a drink. However, when the girls call for Nagisa to leave with them, Yuji tries to stop them by dancing. Yuji ends up accidentally spilling a drink on a guest, punching Hinata Akano to knock out the guest with a somersault kick before trouble arises. The students then move on to the VIP floor where Terasaka knocks out 2 bodyguards using some stun guns, obtaining 2 pistols that were given to Chiba and Hayumi. Upon reaching a theater stage, the group faces off against their next opponent named Gastra. Gastra, who has a keen sense of pinpointing enemy gunfire, turns on all the stage lights in which the students are forced to hide behind the theater seats. Koro Sensei instructs the students using varying nicknames in order to confuse Gastra about the students' movements, giving Chiba and Hayami the encouragement to rise above their failed assassination and get the drop on Gastra. Koro Sensei deduces that the mastermind is not an assassin, while Nagisa learns that Terasaka secretly has been infected with the virus this whole time. The students finally arrive on the top floor and discover that the mastermind is none other than Takeoka. He takes the antidote concealed in a suitcase and brings the group up to the roof, wanting revenge for being humiliated during their previous knife fight. Takeoka calls up Nagisa to the heliport for a rematch. Nagisa demands Takeoka to kneel before him and apologize for pulling a cheap trick during their match. Despite complying, Takeoka detonates the antidote right in front of the class, causing Nagisa to pick up a knife in preparation to kill him. However, Terasaka throws a stun gun at him, urging him not to become a murderer and think about what is truly important. Using what he learned from Labro, Nagisa drops the knife and surprises Takeoka with a sudden clap just before using the stun gun to bring him to his knees. Then Nagisa shocks Takeoka unconscious. Smog, Grip, and Gastra suddenly arrive and reveal that the virus they created is nothing more than temporary food poisoning, as they did not agree with Takeoka's harsh methods. The next day, the poisoned students recover from their symptoms and Koro Sensei emerges from his crystallized state. The students make the most of the remainder of their vacation before returning to school for the second term of their Assassination Classroom. This is where Season 1 ends. Overall, Season 1 has been exciting and interesting. If you want more anime recaps, make sure to like and subscribe.